abandoned me. I'm sitting wondering what she's thinking. Nobody's talking, cause talking just turns into screaming. Oh, and now it's I'm yelling over her, she yelling over me. All that means is neither of us are listening. And what's even worse, that we don't even remember why we're fighting. So both of us are mad for nothing, fighting for nothing, crying for nothing. But we won't let it go for nothing, for nothing. There should be nothing. You will not like what we got, oh baby. I know sometimes it's gonna rain, but baby, can we make up now? Cause I can't sleep through the pain, sleep through the pain. Girl, I don't wanna go to bed at you, and I don't want you to go to bed at me. No, I don't wanna go to bed at you, and I don't want you to go to bed at me. And it gets me upset, girl, when you're constantly accusing, asking questions like you already know. We're fighting this war, baby, when both of us are losing. This ain't the way to love is. What happened to working it out? We fall into this place where you ain't backing down and I ain't backing down. So what the hell do we do now? It's all for nothing, nothing, nothing. We won't let it go for nothing, nothing. There should be nothing. You will not like what we got, oh baby. I know so